What does it actually take to make it past 90 in good shape? Not just alive, but still gardening, traveling, playing with grandkids? Researchers who study centenarians and superagers have spent decades trying to answer that question, comparing blood work, habits, and genetics across populations where living past 90 isn't rare, it's expected. The encouraging finding, genetics explain only part of the story. The rest comes down to a set of repeatable habits. Here are 15 of them. Secret number 1. Move constantly, not just at the gym. When researchers study populations with unusually high numbers of people living past 90, one pattern shows up again and again. These people rarely exercise in the structured sense. Instead, their daily lives are built around constant low-level movement, walking to get food, gardening, climbing stairs, doing physical chores well into old age. Scientists who study aging call this incidental or non-exercise activity, and it appears to matter just as much as scheduled workouts. What this means for you, instead of only chasing a gym session, look for ways to add movement throughout your day. Take the stairs, walk while on the phone, stand up every hour. Consistency beats intensity. Secret number 2. Preserve muscle mass deliberately. Muscle mass naturally declines with age, a process researchers call sarcopenia, and it's one of the strongest predictors of frailty and loss of independence in later life. The encouraging news is that this decline isn't fixed. Resistance training, even started later in life, has been shown to meaningfully slow or partially reverse it. What this means for you, some form of strength training, even just twice a week with body weight or light resistance, becomes increasingly important as you age, not less. Secret number 3. Protect your grip strength. This sounds oddly specific, but a growing body of evidence shows grip strength is one of the most reliable physical predictors of healthy aging and longevity, likely because it's a proxy for overall muscle integrity and nervous system health. What this means for you, simple habits like carrying groceries, gardening, or using grip-strengthening tools aren't trivial. They're tied to a marker researchers take seriously. Secret number 4. Prioritize protein intake as you age. Older adults often eat less protein than they did when younger, but research suggests protein needs may actually increase with age to counteract muscle loss and support recovery. What this means for you, paying closer attention to protein-rich foods, fish, eggs, legumes, dairy, lean meats, across each day can help offset natural age-related muscle decline. Secret number 5. Eat mostly plants, but don't over-restrict. Populations known for high numbers of healthy 90-plus-year-olds tend to eat diets dominated by vegetables, legumes, and whole grains, with meat and processed food as a smaller part of the picture rather than a complete absence. What this means for you, shifting the ratio of your plate towards plants rather than pursuing extreme elimination diets aligns more closely with what the research on long-lived populations actually shows. Secret number 6. Stop eating before you're stuffed. One well-known dietary pattern observed in long-lived populations is eating until you're roughly 80% full rather than until you're stuffed. Researchers believe this mild, consistent calorie moderation without restriction or starvation may reduce metabolic strain over decades. What this means for you, slowing down meals and paying attention to fullness cues may matter more than counting every calorie. Secret number 7. Treat sleep as a biological non-negotiable. During sleep, the brain clears out metabolic waste products, including some linked to neurodegenerative disease, and the body carries out repair processes that are harder to replicate while awake. Chronic short sleep has been associated with higher rates of cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and weakened immune function. What this means for you, protecting 7 to 9 hours of sleep is not a luxury. It's one of the more directly actionable longevity habits available to you. Secret number 8. Keep a consistent sleep-wake schedule. Beyond just duration, research suggests consistency in sleep timing. Going to bed and waking at similar times daily supports healthier circadian rhythms, which in turn influence hormone regulation, metabolism, and even cardiovascular risk. What this means for you, an erratic sleep schedule, even with adequate total hours, may not give your body the same benefit as a steady one. Secret number 9. Maintain strong social connections. Some of the most consistent findings in longevity research involve relationships, not biology. Strong social ties have been linked to lower rates of cardiovascular disease, dementia, and even all-cause mortality. Isolation, on the other hand, appears to carry health risks comparable to other well-known risk factors. What this means for you, maintaining close friendships and family bonds isn't just emotionally beneficial, it appears to be physiologically protective. Secret number 10. Have a sense of purpose. Research on aging populations has repeatedly highlighted a concept often referred to by its Japanese name, ikigai. Roughly, a reason to get up in the morning. Studies have found that people with a strong sense of purpose, whether tied to family, work, faith, or community, tend to have lower mortality rates than those without one, independent of other health factors. What this means for you, cultivating something that gives your days direction, a project, a role, a responsibility to others, may carry measurable health value, not just emotional value. Secret number 11. Manage chronic stress, not just acute stress. Short bursts of stress are a normal part of life and not inherently harmful, but research suggests that chronic, unresolved stress keeps the body in a prolonged state of low-grade inflammation, which has been linked to accelerated cellular aging, cardiovascular disease, and weakened immune defenses. What this means for you, building in deliberate stress recovery practices, whether that's meditation, time in nature, prayer, or simply downtime, isn't indulgent. It's a way of interrupting a biological process tied to aging. Secret number 12. Keep challenging your brain. Scientists who study cognitive aging have observed that people who continue learning new skills, languages, or complex tasks well into older age tend to maintain sharper cognitive function longer. The leading theory is that this builds what researchers call cognitive reserve, extra neural capacity that helps buffer against age-related decline. What this means for you, novelty matters more than repetition here. Revisiting the same crossword puzzle daily likely offers less benefit than learning something genuinely new, an instrument, a language, a skill. Secret number 13. Get sunlight and spend time outdoors. Time outdoors supports vitamin D production, which plays a role in bone health, immune function, and possibly mood regulation. Beyond vitamin D, outdoor time, especially in green spaces, has also been associated in research with lower stress markers and better cardiovascular outcomes. What this means for you, regular outdoor time, even a daily walk, may be doing more for your long-term health than it gets credit for. Secret number 14. Watch your blood sugar regulation, not just your weight. Research increasingly points to long-term blood sugar control, not body weight alone, as a key driver of healthy aging. Chronically elevated blood sugar has been linked to accelerated aging in blood vessels, the kidneys, and the brain, even in people who aren't clinically diabetic. What this means for you, habits like reducing refined sugar and pairing carbohydrates with protein or fiber may matter for long-term health in ways that go beyond the number on a scale. As always, anyone with specific concerns about blood sugar should work with a doctor rather than self-managing based on general information. Secret number 15. Build all of this into identity, not willpower. Perhaps the most consistent thread running through longevity research isn't any single habit. It's that long-lived populations rarely rely on willpower to sustain these behaviors. Movement, diet, sleep, and social connection are simply built into daily life and culture, removing the need for constant motivation. What this means for you, rather than treating these habits as a strict regimen to white-knuckle through, the research suggests aiming to weave them into your environment and routine so they become automatic rather than effortful. Looking at this list as a whole, a pattern emerges that's worth sitting with. None of these 15 factors on their own is a guarantee of anything. No single habit, not strength training, not protein intake, not sleep, not purpose, has been shown to add decades to anyone's life in isolation. What the research actually supports is something less dramatic but more useful. These factors compound. Someone who moves daily, sleeps well, maintains relationships, and keeps a sense of purpose isn't benefiting from four separate effects stacked on top of each other. They're likely benefiting from how those factors reinforce one another. Better sleep supports better mood and stress regulation. Strong social ties make people more likely to stay active and eat well. Purpose makes consistency easier than discipline ever could. It's also worth noting what this list isn't. It's not a guarantee, and it's not a substitute for medical care, regular checkups, or addressing specific health conditions with a doctor. Genetics still play a real role in lifespan, and no amount of grip strength or outdoor time erases that. But the research on populations who reliably reach 90 and beyond in good health points to something genuinely hopeful. A meaningful share of healthy aging appears to be within reach of ordinary, repeatable choices, not extreme interventions, not supplements, not biohacking, just the steady accumulation of habits like the ones covered here. If there's one takeaway to walk away with, it's this. Pick one or two of these 15 that feel most realistic to start with. Research on behavior change consistently shows that trying to overhaul everything at once tends to fail, while small, sustained shifts tend to stick. And sticking with something for years is exactly what this kind of research rewards. If this kind of evidence-based breakdown is useful to you, consider subscribing. This channel covers the science behind healthy aging every week, separating what's actually backed by research from what's just trending. If you're curious about any one of these 15 in more depth, a good next watch would be a deeper dive into building sustainable strength training after 50, since muscle preservation tends to be the habit with the most immediate, measurable payoff. Thanks for watching, and here's to making it to 90 and beyond in good shape.